Hello, everyone. Welcome back to E20 Zone TV. I hope everyone's all well out there in the world. To my right is Lucas. Down the bottom there is Jay. And we're here to talk about the X. The X, lads. The X has come back. David Moyes is Everton versus West Ham United. Lucas, how are you doing?
I'm good. Nothing really to report on today besides the absolute thievery of the Premier League. What I paid for the summer series to go watch my club is absolutely disgusting, but it is what it is.
Jay, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm all right. I've had a crazy week. I was in Coventry yesterday. I was at the Excel Centre today, and I don't even know where I am tomorrow. I don't even know where I am Saturday as well. So it's been a crazy week, but happy to be back with you, gentlemen, talking about the beloved David Moyes.
Mr.
We actually
Moyes.
we have a reason that like no one in chat can actually get annoyed and be like, "Oh, why are you still focused on Moyes?" Like we have to talk about him in this preview. So yeah, there you go. How are you, James? Are you still smarting from Cheltenham?
Oh mate, I've done fucking shit, mate. Yeah, I'm so sorry to all the people that I've gave bets with. It's just been one of them weeks from hell. Do you know what I mean? You get it from time to time, and yes, it comes down on me. But yeah, about David Moyes, it's going to be interesting, isn't it? Tomorrow, not tomorrow, Saturday. It's going to be one of them games where we want to win. If we lose, it's going to be chaos on social media, and I am fucking dreading it.
You're just going to have to log off.
Log off. Can deactivate, do all the usual stuff. Right, let's get into it. Match preview time. What are we saying, Jay, about it?
Well, we go to Goodison Park, a place where we've done all right there in recent years, but they haven't had David Moyes there in recent years, and we have. Lo and behold, he's now in the opposition dugout. They haven't lost in 8 games in the Premier League. They look really hard to beat. They're scoring goals where they weren't scoring goals before. They're still conceding goals, which the difficulty there is...
Beto's a gunman now.
Yeah, he's turned Beto into like prime R9.
One of the worst Premier League strikers I think I've seen in a long time, and now he is a gunman.
Yeah. It's going to be tough, lads. It's going to be really, really tough. We're going to have to... We'll talk about like how we're going to approach it and stuff and lineups, I'm sure, but we're going to have to roles reverse and like try and figure out how to break down a David Moyes low block, which has been working really well for them. They're a really good counter-attack inside, and we've struggled to unlock defenses. It's got 0-0 written all over it, lads. I won't lie, but like, you know,
that will be my prediction, 0-0.
Yeah. But yeah, it's going to be tough, boys.
What do you make of it, Lucas?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, especially with the way both sides set up. We all know what Moyes is going to do. Even if he's at home, he's going to set up in a low block. He's going to let Graham Potter possess the ball for as long as he wants. I'm sure we will have a pretty decent XG, but nothing might not come from it. But for me, it will be an interesting approach because I do want to see some changes in the lineup. I would like to see us either take Alvarez out for a creative midfielder, or not just Alvarez. I would like to see one of the 3 that's been starting taken out for a more creative player. I would like to see us go with 3 forwards or 3 attacking players rather than just 2. And I would like to think this would be a match Evan Ferguson should start, because if we are going to put balls into the box, it's absolutely pointless just shipping in crosses to Jared Bowen and Kudus.
What happens tomorrow? I keep saying tomorrow, Saturday, sorry. What happens on Saturday if he goes with an unchanged lineup?
I mean, again, if you're going by match-to-match basis, I mean, depending on the variables and the news that we have, sure, I guess you could criticize it, but I mean that I would have to wait and see. Like if he goes with a 5-3-2 again, but Fulkrug isn't available or whatever, it all stimulates from injuries and all that for me. But I could see why people would be annoyed.
What about you, Jay?
Yeah, I think I'd be a little bit frustrated, but I don't see it as the end of the world. In all honesty, if he wants to keep a bit of harmony when Lopetegui was lethal for how often under Lopetegui would we sit here and try and predict the lineup and something completely left field happens, which lo and behold was completely left field to the players as well. Like he would do something random on match day that no one was ready for, and we'd play like idiots. So I've got no issue if he wants to go for a bit of like consistency, a bit of squad harmony. They're only going to learn more and more every time they play this system about how to play it. I agree with Lucas. Like I think this is the time to bring in Evan Ferguson, but we don't know how fit he is. We don't know what's going on in training. And people are getting frustrated. I see a lot of frustration about the Todibo subbed for Mavropanos thing and the other day as well. Potter's risk averse. That's why A, he sets up like he does, and B, he makes the changes that he does. He's been expansive in his changes when we've gone behind. So like whether people like it or not, if you back Graham Potter, you've got to get used to this. He is a risk averse manager, but you start with a solid foundation and then you build. That's how he does it.
For me, before I get on to the next question about this sort of match preview, is that he has to show something different. He has to show. Well, for me, I know what you're saying, but you can't keep doing the same thing over and over again because it ain't going to always work. Do you know what I'm saying? It might work against Arsenal, but it ain't going to work against Everton. Now, for me, Everton are a team who's massively in form. They lost their first game against Villa, then they've been unbeaten ever since. I believe. Yeah, they was 2-0 up against United, drew 2-2, 1 up against Wolves, 1-1. For me, Potter's got to show something here. Do you know what I mean? Because this is the game where I'm going to say it. I don't want to lose this one. Because if we lose this one, we're going to get a load of shit. Yeah, and a load of shit. And for me, I feel like Potter's got to show something. Now, I'm going to put a question to both views right now. When you look at David Moyes' time at Everton, since he's come in there, how he's completely transformed that team. And that team was shit, by the way. And you look at Potter's time coming in.
Let's not twist it. They in my opinion, Everton are shit. But there's one person you can thank for turning them around.
Yeah, currently. but isn't that a sort of thing that I'm trying to get at here? Is that have we really had a massive transformation under Potter, or has he just stabled the sort of sinking ship? Really,
I think we look a lot better under Potter than Lopetegui.
Defensively,
genuinely.
maybe.
I think in all facets we look better. I think we look better in every single facet. But again, that just to me that says more about how shit Lopetegui was, and he was.
Yeah,
terrible.
He was like, and so this is the thing, right? And the conversations surrounding Graham Potter are already like popping up. People starting to doubt him already. People changing their tune who like massively advocated for him, and now he's in, and it's not as exciting, and it's not all rainbows and unicorns and ice cream and whatever other fucking nice stuff you thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's so much to unpack in this comparison. David Moyes is an excellent manager. Like people won't give him his credit. He's an excellent manager. He's got a great track record. He did brilliant things at West Ham. He came in at a time when we were in disarray, similar to Everton. He instilled good defensive principles and exciting counter-attacking. And he turned West Ham from a club that was struggling and potentially going down to regular top half, regular Europe, and then a trophy winning side. I could see him doing a similar thing to Everton. Everton were desperately in need of some defensive stability. Sean Dyche was playing like haram ball the whole time he was there at Everton, and they needed someone to come in, sort out the defensive problems, and figure out how to counterattack as well. Lo and behold, David Moyes is the perfect man. Going into a new era, exciting stuff. Yeah, cool. Exciting for Everton. Good luck to him, other than on the weekend. But, you know, you look at Graham Potter, he's come into West Ham at a time when we need to stabilise. He's stabilised us. But the problem is the two clubs are on different trajectory. Everton have had no joy in a long, long time. West Ham experienced joy 2 years ago, got notions about, not everyone, but a large area of our fan base got notions that, well, we deserve more than this. And it's like, well, you kind of reap what you sow. And now we're in a position where we've tried something different. It didn't work. We're trying something different again. You've got to be patient with it. I think Potter's doing the same kind of thing as David Moyes, but we were probably in more disarray, and it was probably our fans are probably harder to please than Everton's fans are. So I don't
know about that.
I would say so. I mean, they sat through Sean Dyche ball for a long, long time, and now put Sean Dyche in the West Ham dugout. How long does he survive at West Ham?
When you said haram, and then you just talked about Everton fans, there's been this meme that's been stuck in my head ever since like the last week. I was in England, and it's been with me since. I saw a meme that said, halal in my hands, haram on my mind. That's Everton supporters right now, I think.
Listen, I don't like, let me put this to you. Yeah, it's a question for both of you. Also, a question to the chat. Chat to the chat. Who's had the bigger impact, Potter or Moyes?
Moyes probably.
Yeah, Moyes, 100% it's Moyes. Moyes is unbeaten in 8 games. Like it's massive.
Yeah, but this is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, I rate what Potter's trying to do. I get it. Yeah, I trust him because the other manager previous to him was shit. I get that also. The issue I've got is he's not making like he's not really turning any good players that were shit into good players. He's making a defense solid, granted, 100%. But when it comes to people like Beto for Everton, this man couldn't hit a fucking couldn't hit a barn door. Do you know what I'm saying?
I just really don't think that's like, I don't know how to describe. I don't want to say that's the goal right now, but if you ask me which side and which manager has a higher ceiling for next season, I'd say us.
Maybe on personnel, but
no, personnel, the manager, recruitment, who we have in recruitment, who's going to be picking the players. I'd back us over Everton.
Maybe.
I also think just on the Beto thing as well. First and foremost, that's the difference. They've had a out and out striker, and we haven't. But also the style of play lends itself to creating more big chances than our style of play has led to so far. Because we're relying on 3 midfielders who are not natural, like chance creating, ball playing midfielders who are gonna like playmakers. We don't have a playmaker,
and we are not playing nearly the same style as them. They are playing Moyes ball. We are playing Potter ball. 2 completely different philosophies.
We could easily tomorrow, I keep saying tomorrow as well, we could easily on Saturday see us have the ball for 70 minutes. They go back to front in 3 touches and score and we lose the game 1-0. Because that's what Moyes does. Like that is, and Everton fans will be delighted with that. We were doing that and our fans were fucking miserable.
That's why I get annoyed with the whole, this is just like Moyes again. It's not. It is not.
I don't know. Like, me and you can argue.
The styles are completely
me and you will argue this all day.
The styles are completely different. Potter does what he does in possession. Moyes doesn't believe in possession. He counterattacks people to death. Those are 2 complete different styles. You cannot compare.
Yeah, well, like I look at it a bit different than that, but we will get onto that. Right, let's go to midfield of both sort of sides before we go to the starting lineup for us. What do you make of their midfield? Because their midfield, they've got some decent players in there who can do some damage, Jay.
Yeah, I mean, Idrissa Gueye, he's been pretty decent. Decore's a really good player. They are missing Ndiaye, I think, but they still seem to be doing well without him.
He's out for a while.
Moyes has started to get a tune out of Jack Harrison as well. Like, they've got some good players in there.
He loves playing against us, that Jack Harrison.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a bit of a battle going on, and you compare what Lucas summed it up really well when we were talking about the Newcastle game, in that both midfields were so poor. Both midfields were completely pedestrian, and the midfield battle was like non-existent. The ball kept getting lost in the middle of the park in that game. And this could be a similar kind of game, which is why we're probably going to need to see a change of personnel in that midfield. They'll sit in a really organised low block. We're going to have to figure out how to get around them. It's a really small pitch. So the wing backs not kicking on is going to mean that Jared Bowen and Aaron Wan-Bissaka are going to get in each other's way like they were earlier in the season. And we're going to need someone in centre midfield who's going to go, do you know what? I'll take hold of this game and I'll make something happen. That could be James Ward-Prowse. Like it could be. It's the kind of game where James Ward-Prowse will be a leader in the centre of the park, and he'll be someone that won't be afraid to get on the ball and try and make something happen. I know, before anyone in chat goes to me, I haven't been looking at chat, but I know he passes sideways and backwards. He's had nobody to aim at. Like, expect more of that. If you're going into this game expecting us to play this free-flying, beautiful football, expect a lot of sideways and backwards passing from midfield. They just will not have space.
All I know is I'd rather have James Ward-Prowse in the middle controlling a match than, say, Souček or Alvarez. Like, I think, in my opinion, I think Souček could do what Alvarez does. So for me, I think Paqueta has to come in and play and be that focal point to try and create something in a midfield battle. When you do put the 3 against 3, we should be winning that with a player like Lucas Paqueta. But to your point, I love Decore. I think he's such a good player. I've rated him for a very, very long time. Even at Watford, I've been a huge, huge fan. But realistically, and again, the match is never won on paper. You can only tell so much from that, but we should be winning the midfield battle. But again, with the 2 different styles of play. That midfield three that Everton have could easily overrun us, defend well against us. It's for them, all they got to do is stay compact, true to the tactics. And for us, we have to do the same, but with our tactics, we need a creative player in there. So
what do you, before we move on to the starting lineup, final question. Yeah. Do you think David Moyes will celebrate this win or celebrate the goals going in? Or do you think he'd be a bit more respectful? Considering
he's managing a team. He's got no allegiance to West Ham anymore. Yeah. He's a West Ham legend in my eyes, but at the same time, he's manager of Everton. They're at home. Like, if he scores, I expect him to give it big. Maybe if they score in the 90th and beat us 1-0, I won't expect him to be running down the touchline and knee slide in Jose style. But I'd expect him to celebrate if they score.
And again, we'll never know. Like, if he does celebrate, like who he's really giving it to. Is he giving it to the owners? Is he giving it to the board? Is he giving it to the supporters or just everyone in general? We do not know. But if he celebrates, it's the last season at Goodison Park, for fuck's sake. Like, they literally have, what, like 7 more cup finals, I would say. Your last season in Goodison, those are cup finals at home. So if he celebrates, I really could give a shit less.
Let's go to starting lineup. What we all saying?
I mean, in goal, Alphonse Areola had a great game against Newcastle, didn't he? You can't really ask much more of him. We know what his limitations are. His kicking's poor, his distribution's poor, his decision making on the ball is poor. But if he can stop as many like clear goal scoring opportunities as he did against Newcastle, then it gives us a good chance. I would imagine that Everton don't get many clear-cut chances, but their style versus our style will create 1 or 2. If he can make the saves and we keep a clean sheet, then good luck to him. So I think Areola starts in goal for me.
Defense. Is it the same 5?
I'm going to say yes, personally. I don't see the need to change it. I think we've been really poor defending transitions in the midfield. Whatever midfield we've deployed, we've been cut through like a knife through butter the whole season. And playing 3 at the back and then a midfield 2 or a midfield 3 seems to have stopped that.
And I'd much rather see a player like Cresswell start the match and then Dino come on versus the other way around. I think the other way around would literally have negative effect. Is
this a valid point from Bazza? Shout out to Bazza about bringing Emerson in, because Scholes has played the last 3 games. The last game he wasn't too great. Maybe it's time just to let him have a sit on the bench. Maybe
I think in a match like this, where we are going to possess the ball and we are going to need creativity, and it like the right, and again, let's be honest, right wing back, left wing back, those are 2 positions you don't really look at players to be creative or be the difference. But if they are, that can mean everything in the match. And again, if we're going for that angle and the way that Potter likes to play, I personally think if you're going up against a low block, you need to be creative. Got to put in some key passes. Just got to break up the pitch. I think Emerson would be a good fit for this match. But if Scholes played, I wouldn't really detest that. I wouldn't be throwing my arms in the air because he quite does deserve to keep starting, in my opinion. But from a tactical standpoint, I do think Emerson would probably suit this match really well.
Yeah, but Emerson's a bit more of an attacking threat.
We need that, though.
Yeah, but that's what I'm trying to say. Like, with Scholes is not really an attacking threat, is he? He's like, he goes forwards.
Not in the same way that Emerson is. Again, we don't have a lot of ball carriers in the side. And again, Emerson being a ball carrier and a creative player at a left wing back spot, when that's not really a thing you ask from that kind of position, it can work out more than what you expect. And again, with Scholes, I think Scholes could become a good wing back. I think we obviously know he's more of a left back. But I just think what Emerson offers at that position of what we're going up against, I think it would be a bit more fruitful than starting Scholes. And again, Scholes coming off the bench would not be a bad idea too, because we all know he can put a ball in. Emerson, not the greatest crosser in the world. But again, that ball carrying, I think, could be very, very important, as Scholes is yet to really prove that he can carry the ball like Emerson.
Yeah, I would also add just very quickly, if you remember the goal that Emerson scored at Villa, which was perfect movement, arriving on the back post, tucked his header away. That overload at the back post is kind of what we've been missing with Scholes. But what I would hope, like he's the long-term future at West Ham, and I think he will grow into a really good left wing back. And this is the point. Like I'm super happy with us sticking with Scholes. He looks like he's learning every game he plays. I don't think he was bad the other day as well. I thought he was fine.
He wasn't.
And he's good with intricate passing as well, which we're going to need as much as we're going to need.
And we have the benefit. We have the benefit if we start one or the other. If the other comes on later in the match, I think it's a positive change. So it's a win-win for me. I really don't care who starts.
Can I get to this comment from Moyes? Shout him out. Yeah. 1 minute you want the youngsters to get a chance. Now you're looking to drop them. This fan base. So you're saying to me no one's droppable? Listen, every man in that squad is droppable, right? From the starting 11 to the fucking subs bench. Now, Scholes has done well, but we need to win this fucking game. Now, if it means he has to sit on the bench, then so be it. Do you know what I'm saying? I care about winning. Like, you know what I mean? The youngsters come and go, but West Ham, honestly, West Ham win some fucking games from now to the end of the season. So, listen, I've got no allegiances to either Emerson or Scholes, right? Whoever comes in, they need to do the job. Now, if Scholes takes a seat on the bench, then so be it. If he starts, then so be it. Just stop getting hung up on this youngster gimmick, because this youngster gimmick don't win your fucking things. You know what I'm saying?
We don't have a lot of spots on the pitch, like I just said, where you could start or bench a player and either one of them can come on and it's a positive. Normally, it's you start someone, it's kind of positive, and then the other person you bring on is a bit negative. So win-win for me.
Midfield, what we saying?
I would like to see us go back to the box midfield in this game. I would rather we lose a midfielder and bring in a striker. So I'm going to say it's the 3-4-2-1 for me. And I'd like to see a midfield 2. I'm really hung up on... I think one of the midfield 2 needs to be Paqueta in this game. We're going to have lots of the ball. We're going to need someone who's going to try those piercing balls, going to try and unlock the defense. Yeah. Yes, it won't work a lot of the time. You're going to see some of those like little chipped through balls. You're going to see some risky passes. We're going to need to see that. And with the added security of 3 centre-backs behind him, I think he gets a bit more license. And he's enjoyed playing under Potter so far. So I'd like to see Paqueta come in. I've been mulling over in my head, who would I want to partner him? Because there's a case for all of Ward-Prowse and Alvarez, and I'm not sure, to be honest.
Can I ask a question on this? Yeah, just as you mentioned, the man, it could be his last game professionally. Is this the right move to play him in his last game when his head might not be in the game?
I think so. I think if there's one thing that Graham Potter is good at, it's like managing players' mindset and understanding and empathizing with players. He'll know whether it's right. And if he plays, then Potter knows what he's doing. If he doesn't play, then Potter knows it's not right for him. Like realistically, none of us have a clue because we're not in the camp. So whatever Potter decides, whether he starts him, whether he doesn't start him,
and if anything, I highly doubt that Lucas Paqueta would be in the mindset, this could be my last match ever. I'm gonna go out and play like a cunt.
Yeah,
he's gonna have motivation, if anything, in my opinion, to leave with a bang.
Yeah, I'll get that. So right, name the 3 midfielders, boys.
Well, I'm going with 2. And
I'm going with 2 as well. I'm predicting a box.
Right, and what's the box?
I'm hung up on who to start next to Paqueta. I'm probably leaning. I'm honestly on the fence, but I'm going to say maybe Alvarez and tell Alvarez to be a really disciplined 6 and allow Paqueta to like roam and do what he needs to. But I would have no issue with Ward-Prowse. I'd have no issue with Souček as well.
Right, let's go to the attack line. So if you're going 2 in midfield, who's the attack line for you boys?
I think it'll be Kudus, Ferguson, Bowen.
Agreed.
I think it has to be that. And I think if it isn't that, then I need to know what the point is of bringing Evan Ferguson in when we're not going to see nothing of him. Do you know what I'm saying? For me, on that, I can accept that. But if he does not start on Saturday, I am going to be looking at him thinking, what is the point? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, because that's about 5-6 games now that he's actually been at the club. And he's had about a combined minutes of about an hour and a half. So it's not a lot. Do you know what I'm saying? Right, let's go to predictions then, boys. What are we saying? I'll tell you what, I'll let Lucas go first. I'll leave Jay till last.
I know I said at the beginning, spoiler, 0-0. But I'll be honest, I think it is really tough to predict anything other than like a draw. Getting the score bang on. Whoever does an exacto and hits, credit to them, because I really have no idea. I've been a Desmond all season, especially with Lopetegui at the helm. But I don't know. I think at home, Moyes isn't gonna really care about going forward or attacking. He will park the bus a bit, in my opinion. And I think if he does that, I think Potter will do what he's known to do. We will possess the ball, we'll pass it around, we'll probably create a few decent chances, and the XG will show. But who knows if the most important thing is if the ball will go in. So I don't know. I think Everton's back line really suit the way Moyes wants to play. I think our back line suits the way that Potter wants to play. And even if he does be a bit more passive, it suits him as well. So I'm gonna go with a draw. I hate to say it, but I think the counterattacking side always will have a bit more of the edge. Like, the way I look at this is like a 45-55 type of chance of winning. And I think I'm gonna go 1-1, but I am afraid the counterattacking side, which will be Moyes, I'm afraid they will sneak a winner in, but I'm going 1-1. If I had to put my money on anything, 1-1.
1-1 for you. Saturday night's going to be awful. I think we're going to get done here. For me, David Moyes will know how to play against West Ham, i.e. in the low block. I'm not convinced with Potter, but the way he's going around things, if Ferguson starts, then we've got an attacking threat. If he goes with the same lineup as he did the other day, then for me, he's becoming stubborn in his approach. And that is a problem for me, major problem. It's going to be tough. There's the games are counting down for their final games at Goodison Park. And the problem I have, which I will say it, is if they score first, how do we score two? And that's where my problem is at the minute. I don't think we've got enough power, enough firepower in the ranks to score 2 goals. So I'm actually going to say, I think Everton do us. I'm going to say 2-0. I actually think they score. I think West Ham will try and do what they're going to do, play the ball and work it towards their box. I think Everton will just play 2 counters, and I think Beto will probably score, and then they'll get another one late on it, and it'll be a 2-0 win. If Moyes turns up and turns us over, I won't be doing nothing on Saturday night. I'm staying well off social media, yeah, because I care about West Ham United Football Club. And I'm just going to say this, right? Listen, there's people out there who's got this Moyes gimmick of basically saying, right, we're going to back Moyes and half and half shirts and all this bollocks. I'm a West Ham United fan. What Moyes done for this club was amazing, and I'll never forget it.
Look out for mine in New Jersey.
I know, I know. But, all I'm going to say is this. I think it's going to be a tough test on Saturday. And if West Ham do win up there, I'll actually be quite shocked, because I'm not, it'll be a tough place to go, Goodison Park, at any time.
I think a draw would be a good result
2-0.
personally, but again, I can only speak for me and me only. But
yeah,
we all know going up to Goodison is never easy.
Yeah, Jay, what you saying?
Big fat 0-0. I can't see us breaking them down. I think the teams that they've drawn against recently have been caught by Everton on the counter attack, and I think
the odds for that
we
right
will.
Now.
Yeah, I may actually stick a couple of quid on 0-0. I think with our back three, I think we'll have enough to deal with their counter attacks. Personally, touch woods. I'm making a rod for my own back there, but that's just how I feel. Big fat 0-0. Maybe either team nicks it 1-0. Not sure, but I'm gonna say goalless. Well, like the 0-0 earlier in the season when we played them at home was one of the worst games of football I've ever laid eyes on. So expect more of that. Joy to the world.
Right in between 7 and 8 to 1.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah.
In America, we call that plus 750. $10 wins you 75.
I will tell you a bet then. If that's the case, just do under 1.5 goals, and it could end up being 1-0. If you want to bet, all the people out there like a punt, get on under 1.5 goals. So I've gone for 2-0 because I just think West Ham might try and go forward late in the day and then to get done on a counter. But if you fancy the draw, get on the under 1.5. It can't go wrong. Any final words, boys? Also, just want to say this quickly. Quick thoughts on Quascencio Summerville, mate. He's out for the season.
It's with those situations, it's always tricky ones. because I always feel like you should listen to the medical experts, but again, no one knows your body better than you.
Yeah.
So it is a bit of a tricky one. And again, if Somerville's out the rest of the season, I'll be honest, I don't really care. The season's dead. We don't necessarily need him. He comes back full strength in the summer for preseason and the start of next season. If you were to hand me that right now, I would take it personally rather than him come back prematurely. And for all we know, he re-injures himself and he's fucked for the summer and the start of next season. So,
Jay?
Yeah, I was more disappointed that this news came out. This is like a non-story. Like Lucas said, with nothing to play for. If you're given the if we were fighting for European spots and they were like, right, an operation gives you a chance to play in the last like 6-7 games when we're going to need you, yeah, maybe I'd be disappointed. But it's also none of my fucking business. It's absolutely none of my business what he wants to do with his own body. Like, everyone needs to just get over themselves personally. But yeah, rest up, come back next season when we've got something to play for. Hopefully, like super strong.
There's just some info that like we really don't need to be that in the know, because that again only causes like just opinions that I don't give a shit about.
Yeah.
I was going to say something else. Also, the trial starts on Monday for Mr. Lucas Paqueta. What are you boys thinking? Me and Jay spoke about it before when you was over here, Lucas, and obviously you couldn't get on the channel. How do you both you see this going? Because I can see it going one way, and I think it's going to go bad for him. If I'm being real.
I think we talked about it a little bit, but again, if they're just going to rule off probability, I think he is done. Again, I don't know how like UK law is or the Premier League law and all that, because I know the NFL, the NBA, the MLB, and all that, they do their own investigations as well, but they still kind of cater to US laws and like court laws, court systems, and all that here. So by what I've read and what I've heard, that's not the case with the Premier League, and they can just rule anything off probability. So if that's the case, they will probably be like, yep, I'm 51%. I'm 50.099% sure he's done this, and they're going to nick him. But you know what? It is what it is, in my opinion. And from what we've seen this whole time, they do not have enough evidence. They think this is the problem. They think they did it. They don't know that he did it, and that the evidence shows, in my opinion. So if this is Lucas Paqueta's last game, and he could potentially play the match on April Fool's Day or the day before, whatever it is. But if it is his last possible match, I thank him for his service. But yeah, I just non-football related, I think it's ridiculous to rule on probability.
I'm just going to say this, and I'm going to let Jay Land have his final say. When you fuck about with the betting companies, they come after you with everything, mate. And I know about this quite a lot. I've seen a lot of people go through the same sort of similar situations in regards of like gambling and all that. And if you have a advantage on the house, the house will come down on you like a ton of bricks, so to speak. I agree with you, Lucas. Like the FA, like they're doing it on probability rather than evidence, and it's a bit wrong, really. But if the gambling companies have turned around and said you need to act on this and make a example of Lucas Paqueta, I think they will have to. Do you know what I'm saying? Because spot fixing and match betting are two different things. Spot fixing is like you're actually betting on something that you know is going to 100% happen, and that's you. Done that yourself. Match fixing is a more collective thing.
The thing is, as well, is that I do think it's wrong, especially with the amount of evidence they have, and they couldn't prove it last year. They couldn't prove it as time has gone on. I think a lifetime ban is harsh as well. Like if you were to ban them for a year, 2 years, you can maybe see the justification in it. But a lifetime ban for something they don't know and they're only going off probability, I think is absolutely ridiculous. But again, that's what the UK does. That's what the Premier League does in the football association. I'm just personally not used to that. So from my point of view, I think it's really fucking dumb. So
Jay,
Yeah, I got two things to say on this. First and foremost, it's a disgrace that this is potentially going to result in a ban on a 51% probability, like Lucas said, when unnamed Premier League midfielder in his 30s is still playing for his club. And everyone knows what's happened there. There's all kinds of NDAs. His club don't seem to care. And he's still playing football every week. And he's getting off scot-free. Yep. People have just forgotten about it every week.
Great point, Jay. Great point. Totally forgot about that.
There are way bigger stories and bigger problems out there in football. And I imagine that he's found guilty on the balance of probability, exactly as you boys have said, all because that's where the money is. The second thing I'll say on this is he has got some serious, what Troj said, he is using the same lawyer as Man City used. And that lawyer has absolutely run rings around the Premier League before and has resulted in tons of rules being changed and all kinds of stuff happening. So I expect him to be found guilty. I expect it to be appealed. I expect it to get really messy. Then will he be able to play whilst the appeal's ongoing? Because if he can't play whilst the appeal's ongoing and then it's overturned, does he then have a legal case against the Premier League to sue for loss of earnings and stuff? It could get super messy.
If they do lose, I'm telling you right now, I think Paqueta, West Ham, and a lot of people associated will be throwing the book at these people.
Yeah.
What do you just to get finally to the final point? What do you reckon he's going to get, Jay?
As in what the punishment will be?
Yeah.
Well, we all know the Premier League are going for a lifetime ban. So I imagine if they find him guilty, they'll say, lifetime ban, and it will get massively, massively appealed. Because, like I say, this is a guy's career that we're talking about here. So he ain't just going to roll over and take it. He's going to throw absolutely everything that he can. He's got good financial backing. He's got the lawyers that Man City have used. They've already they've been very, very careful with statements that they've put out previously about how he feels. There's details being leaked about the trial, which is going to impact his chances of receiving a fair trial. So they've already sown the seed that they could try for a mistrial and they could try for all kinds of things. This will get really messy. Whatever happens, I expect the Premier League to throw the book at him, and I expect him to just throw it straight back at the Premier League.
Where does this leave West Ham, though, for you boys?
This is where it gets even messier, doesn't it? Because do West Ham then turn around if the appeal gets thrown out and go, cool, we're going to take you to court?
Yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen, and that's what's come out. And we have every single right to do that because for all we know, we could have Cole Palmer at the club right now. But I agree. I agree with Jay. I think the bookies, the betting companies, they want a lifetime ban, and I think that's what they'll do. And I think we can all agree the bookies here, everywhere, offshore, wherever, they're all evil cunts. They're absolutely evil people. And
our own shirt sponsor as well.
Yeah, and all they do is care about themselves. They don't care where that money's coming from. All they care about is it hits the accounts and if they're winning. So I agree with you. They're going to do everything in their power to get a lifetime ban, and I think they probably will get what they want. But if they do not, I will be laughing, and I will be there. It'll be the best hate watch of all time, just seeing them get absolutely rinsed and having the book thrown at them.
I actually agree with everything you just said there. Bookies, when they want something to happen, especially the Gambling Commission, they fucking come after you, mate. But we will see what happens there. Smash a like on the video, subscribe to E20 Zone TV, hit notification bell and all of that. I'll be back on Saturday on the afterthought. Everton versus West Ham. Please, West Ham, don't let me down on this one. This is the one that I don't want you to let me down on because, it could be a nightmare Saturday evening. This one's big, mate. This one's big.
I don't think it's as big as what people are making it out to be.
Oh, it's big, mate. Trust me. It'll be on every social media fucking channel going, so it'd be big. If we win, everyone will be happening and saying, fuck Moyes. If we lose, all the Moyes lovers will be straight out of there loving life. So, it is big.
I'll be in the shadows laughing at both actually all three results because I can see the meltdown if we win, lose, or draw.
Yeah.
Some generational head losses all over.
I'm going to be in the pub. That's where I'm going to be after the afterthought.
The only thing I'll be thinking about is if Mr. Moyes is going to sign my beautiful Europa Conference League portrait that Fever got me. I'm going to bring that with me to New Jersey. And let me tell you, the price I paid to go watch him will be all be worth it if I get a picture of Mr. Moyes or that thing signed.
You are a fucking wrong one, honestly. I'm just gonna say that. That's what you are. Do you know what I mean? I'll say it to your face. You're a wrong one. Right, that's enough from us.
Half
Anyway,
and half kit.
fucking still a wrong one. You take care of yourselves out there. Be safe, be well. I'll see you again in the next one.